Good morning, everyone. It's Kay Kaltoff. Welcome to a Stampin' Chat with Kay. It's great to be here this morning. Thank you so much for joining in. We're going to make some beautiful birthday cards. Yes, it's going to bring the travel bug out in you, but you know what? Hey, we can't go there in person. Of course, how many of us go to Paris in person? But you know, through the world of creating and crafting and stamping and sharing, we're there. Good morning. Oh, so many of you are joining us. Hi, Andy. Oh, she's watching while she paints the hall. Andy's kind of a busy girl. You were painting at the camper this weekend. Good morning. Welcome, welcome. Oh, I have so much to show you. So I'm going to show you the cards that we did at our Make and Take this month for our demo meeting. Of course, we don't have in-person demo meetings. They're all online. And actually, it really works out well. It almost works out better, at least for me. So the cards are fantastic. So these were one sheet wonder with a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. And I have to say, I want to give the credit to Rhonda Wade. She is the person that I take training with, and she does a meeting planner every month. And so I always follow along with Rhonda, whatever Rhonda's doing, Kay is doing, especially when it comes to my downline meetings. And so these cards, and pretty much all the make and takes we ever do at a meeting, is from Rhonda. So I appreciate her creativity and the ability for me to save time on my end. So let me share these beautiful one sheet wonder cards with you. So I'm going to just start holding them up. Here's the first one. And you'll notice this all uses this new wonderful designer series paper called the Ornate Garden. And then we are using the So Sentimental stamp set that you can find in our mini catalog that is still current. Here's another one. So we made 9 full-size cards. They are fabulous. And then of course we're using the sweetly stitched dies as well. So a lot of my customers, I made up some extras. A lot of my customers will be receiving these as thank you cards. I always send thank you cards to my customers for placing orders. I think it helps because you get an idea. There's something about holding a card in your hand that is very motivating, a lot more motivating sometimes than looking at something on a screen. So I love to share homemade cards. So here's another one. Hi, Debbie. It's great to have you joining us today. Pauline's here. Thank you. This one is a gatefold card. You're probably curious where this leads to, so let me open it up and I'll show you. So it opens up like this. It's just a regular gatefold that's held shut with a ribbon. All right, let's go on to the next one here. Here's another one. They're so pretty. A lot of them use the butterfly punches and the gilded gems. These are gold gemstones that are available now for our customers to purchase. And it was my gift with purchase in April. This month, my gift with purchase with a $75 order using a code is the Parisian, or the pale pink rhinestones. And guess what? They're on back order. But I think they're supposed to come off back order this week, so I'll have to check after this video is done to see if I can see if they're orderable or not. Here's another one. So you guys, it would help me a lot if you shared this video on your timeline. Let people know we're up and at it so we can have some more watchers. And then your name goes into the drawing. I'm going to give away some petal pink metallic edge ribbon. And then one more card. This uses the back side of the designer series paper, and it looks like this. Isn't that fun? So much fun. Okay, so let me flip the camera down real quick here and we'll get started. These cards are absolutely stunningly gorgeous. Yes, isn't it pretty? Oh my goodness, so much fun. These are just beautiful. So what in the world, what designer series paper are we using? Well, the whole entire card is covered in this designer series paper called Parisian Blossom Specialty Designer Series paper. So I'm going to take the cards out of the picture for a minute so I can show you the paper. The paper looks like this, and it has champagne foil, so it's really fun. So here we go, getting a look at some of that champagne foil. I just love it. So pretty. So again, this is only available through June 2nd, I believe, or while supplies last. So this entire stamp set that I'm showing you today, the Parisian Beauty, is being retired along with the coordinating dies. So here are the dies, and they feature an Eiffel Tower, and I've made some beautiful cards with these dies. And I should have had them with me, but I don't. But I do have them on my blog, so you could search my blog for the Parisian dies. But it is a beautiful, beautiful bundle, only available again until June 2nd. And it just, oh, I'm so sad it didn't carry over because this is really, really one of my very, very favorites. And I love Paris. I love Paris. And so I couldn't help but get this. It was one of my very first orders. The inside of the card looks like this. Life is a magnificent adventure. And then I put a happy birthday down here. Another sentiment that would work great is happy anniversary. So I got my happy birthday sentiment from the Itty Bitty Greetings. So this has just all kinds of things on it. It's good for Mother's Day, Father's Day, Hanukkah, birthdays, weddings, best wishes, anniversaries, prayers, love and sympathy. It just really hits the mark with many, many different sentiments, all of which can be pretty easily punched out with our punches. And so that is always a bonus when you can stamp a sentiment on a little bit of scrap paper and punch it out. Oh my goodness. It really, and then if you screw up the stamping, no big deal. You just stamp again and punch. It's just great. I love using small sentiments and punches. Of course, this time we're not actually doing that. We're stamping straight onto our card. So I have to be really, really careful. So everybody keep their fingers crossed so that I don't goof up. So let's go ahead and we're going to make these beautiful cards. We're even going to decorate the envelopes. And you might notice, these cards are actually a little bit smaller than our normal card stock or our normal cards that I usually put together for you. These are, let me get it out for you so you can see. These are the Whisper White note cards and envelopes that Stampin' Up! Sells. So this is great for those of you that are fairly new to stamping and you don't have a big supply of cardstock where you can create your own cards. You can actually order Whisper White note cards and envelopes. And here's the number 131527. And it's just a great investment to have some of these on hand. And they're just a really nice size for thank yous as well. And they make really cute cards. So that's what we're going to be using today. I've already gone ahead and folded them in half. And to decorate the envelopes here, we'll just go ahead and get this started. So what I like to do is I actually like to use my silicone sheet here, and I am going to put snail all along here. And I like to use the sheet because I want the snail to come right up to the edges. And the snail doesn't actually stick on the silicone, so you can just get right to the edge and flip that over and bring it off, and you don't have any snail on the top part, and all of your snail is back here. And then what you want to do is you want to take just a piece of scrap, and I have some scrap here for decorating my envelopes specifically. So let me show you what size I decided to cut that. I have both of these cut at 2 by 5 1/4. So I'm only going to decorate one envelope because I know that you guys will kind of get the drift of how this goes, but I'll decorate the other one after the video is over so that you can, whoops, I got a little bit of adhesive right here. I happen to have some of these adhesive removers at my desk, so I just grabbed that. It's just a little gummy thing. Stampin' Up! Used to sell them, but for some reason they don't sell them anymore, and I do miss them. I have the ones that I got from Stampin' Up! Years ago, and I still use them. All right, so you're going to take your designer series paper, and again, that was cut at 2 by 5 1/4, and just press that on. And then it's simple after this. You're just going to take a regular paper snips here, and you're just going to go ahead and just cut, follow it all the way around the envelope. So easy, you guys, and it makes such a nice statement. When someone gets this card in their mailbox, they just look at it and they go, oh my gosh, this must be special, because they see that the envelope's been decorated. So it's a really, really nice touch. And there it is. And like I mentioned before, I will be doing a giveaway, and when I mail these cards out to you, the other envelope will be decorated as well. I'm just not going to take the time to decorate it on air here. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take 2 pieces of paper, and we're cutting them the exact same size as the front of the card that we're going to put them on. I rarely do that. I usually have some kind of a border, but in this case, we're not doing that. So these are both cut at 3 1/2 by 5 inches. Now, I'm actually going to be stamping on these, wrapping my ribbon on these, and doing all kinds of stuff to these before we put them on our card. Anytime there's a ribbon wrap, you have to sort of pay attention, because you don't want to glue this all down onto the top of your card and then go, oh no, I forgot the ribbon. That is just so annoying, and it's happened to me like a million times. So, and it still happens. You guys have seen me goof up royally. So you know exactly how not to do it sometimes when I am on air. But today we're going to do it right. So we're going to take this beautiful Eiffel Tower. We are going to use Stays-On black ink. You can see the Stays-On does stain your stamps. Now, Stampin' Up! Actually has Stays-On remover. And if I'm switching around between colors and I want my stamps to look really, really pristine, I do use the remover. But for the most part, with this particular set of stamps, I haven't been doing anything with it. I've just been leaving it on my stamp, because mostly I'm stamping in black. So what I've done is I've inked it up with the jet black Stays-On, and I'm putting it onto the front of my 3 1/2 by 5 inch piece of designer series paper. And there it is. Beautiful. Then we're going to do the exact same thing to this one over here. And we are going to, again, put this right here and give it a press. And just let that sit there for a minute. And again, I don't like to take my stamps off too quickly. I want to give them a little time to soak up into the paper. And that looks great. Now, you might notice that in my Stays-On pad, I have 3 dimensionals, because your Stays-On pad has a little plastic layer right here, and that keeps it very airtight. Your Stays-On pad will dry out pretty quickly. And so this little plastic layer on the inside helps that. But then if I don't attach it to the lid, well, invariably it falls on the floor. I forget about it, and then my pad starts to dry out. So I just keep that plastic layer attached to the lid, and everything works out great. All right, the next thing we're going to need is, because we're going to cut this in half diagonally, this is a 2 3/4 inch by 3 3/4 inch piece of the Parisian Blossoms Specialty Designer Series paper. So because it's spring, I picked the little cherry blossoms. I think that's really fun to work with. And let's see here. We're going to take our paper trimmer here. We're just going to put this in, and we're going to just swing it. So line it up and then swing it to the right. Because if you swing it to the left, you'll have to use the other side of the paper. And we want to make sure that we're using the flower side of the paper. Then you are just going to, once you make sure that you have both diagonal pieces into the line where it will be cutting, you can just go ahead and take your cutter and just cut that up. And you have your pieces ready to go, and this is what's going to go onto the front of our card. So at this point, we're going to take these pieces, and would I use multi-purpose liquid glue? Normally, probably, but I don't have it in front of me. So I'm going to take my snail, which I do have in front of me. That one seems to be a little fussy, so maybe I'll work with that one later. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this in here so there's just the littlest, tiniest line all the way around, just the littlest, tiniest border, and just set that in like this. We're going to do the same thing over here. Honestly, it doesn't look terrifically fabulous at this point because your ribbon and a little bit more stamping is going to do that for you. So again, what I'm doing is I'm setting this in here so there's just the littlest, tiniest border all the way around. And that looks lovely. So now I'll hold it up to the camera so you can really see that there is just this tiniest border. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, oh, and this ribbon is retiring. How can that be? This ribbon is so beautiful. So this will be my giveaway, provided I have enough to give away. I think I will. But if I don't, I'll throw in some, I'll just divide whatever's left on the roll between the two winners, and then I'll throw in some rhinestones or something. But it just depends how much I end up actually having. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take this ribbon, and we're just going to go right underneath the Eiffel Tower here. There's kind of a platform, so we're just going to set this ribbon right where that platform is. It's just a nice place to rest the ribbon, and it's about 1/3 of the way up. So always think when you're designing to design your cards into thirds, because that is a good focal point. So let's go ahead and do that over here too. So I'm just going to bring this up, and we'll fold this over. And isn't that beautiful? Oh my gosh, how gorgeous. Now, this ribbon, as those of you who have it are aware, makes beautiful bows, and it's so easy to make a bow. So I'm just going to go over how I make bows. So what I do is I just kind of start like you're going to tie your shoe, but instead of going around to the front like a lot of us tend to want to do, I think that's the way we were taught, we're going to take this tail over here and we're going to bring it around to the back. Then we'll just slide it in just like you would be tying your shoe. And what that does is it leaves you a nice flat bow that looks really good at the front. See how good that looks? And so that's bow number 1. We're going to need 2. So let me show you again with the second bow, because I always get asked, how do I do my bows? So this is a good time for me to show you. And plus this ribbon makes such beautiful bows. So again, you just fold your ribbon so that you have the short tail coming towards you. See how that looks? And I'm right-handed, so I'm holding it with my right hand. But then I take this back tail here and I bring it around the back, and then I push it through the loop and we tie. And once again, a perfect bow that is just right for putting a glue dot on and sticking it onto your project. So again, we'll just trim this little edge off. And I do like tying my bows from the ribbon spool itself. It's a little bit less wasteful, so you get just a little bit more ribbon going on. Oh. Uh-oh, I'm doing it again. I'm trying to be a perfectionist. You guys just love it when I do that, right? There, I did it. I got to be a perfectionist on camera, and it worked out. Okay. Here we go. Here's ribbon number 1 and ribbon number 2. Beautiful bows. And I'm just going to set these aside. That'll be the crowning touch to finish up this card. What we want to do now is just a tad bit more stamping. So I'm going to bring out basic gray ink. And then we're also going to bring out the StazOn. So we've got 2 more here that we're going to stamp. And we're going to take this really cool kind of like postage stamp cancellation. It says 1889. That's exactly 100 years before my husband and I got married. We got married in 1989. So So I think that's kind of cool. So it might be a nice anniversary card if he was into really frilly girly things, but he's not. So I'd probably make him a fishing card or a golf card for our anniversary. So we're going to stick this on like so. And look at that. How pretty. How perfect. It just fills up that little space up there to make it look, you know, like it's not so empty. Then we're going to take the cancellation stamp and we're going to make that a little bit lighter over the top. So we're going to ink that up in our basic gray and just, you know, go right over the top. And of course it looks pretty similar to the black right at now because it's wet. But once it dries a little bit lighter and it looks really nice. Looks a little softer and a little more faded. Okay. Then let's go ahead, before we do anything else, let's stamp our inside panels because these need to be stamped in case I really goof up. If I really goof up with these sentiments, I have more of these that I can use, but I don't think I'm going to goof up. So to decorate the inside, we want to bring something from the front to the inside. So we're just going to do that with strips of Designer Series paper, 1/2 inch by 4 3/4. And normally, again, I would use multi-purpose liquid glue. Don't have it at my table. So I'm just gonna put a little snail on these and then we're gonna stick them on. So I'm gonna set this out to the side and we're just gonna make sure our suitcases are not upside down, and then we're gonna stick those on just to the left of where our, see, here's the fold, and you're going to put your little strip just to the right of that. So on the left-hand side of the front panel on the inside. And again, we're going to do the same thing with this one. And it's perfect. The next thing we want to do is bring that stays on back, and you'll notice what I did here. I put 2 stamps on the same block. So I've got the Life is a Magnificent Adventure. Again, that comes from the Parisian Beauty stamp set. And then the Happy Birthday, or you could put Happy Anniversary. That one comes from our 2-case set of Itty Bitty Greetings 1 and 2. So it's kind of nice when you can put things on the same block. Now, if I was doing multiples of these cards, I would definitely put this all on a Stamparatus, and then it goes really quickly and you have far less chance of making mistakes. Okay, so this is just sitting right in here and it looks very nice. There's the first one. How perfect is that? Just beautiful. And again, I don't know if I told this to you or not. I may have. I think I shared it in my Happy Stamper Stamping to Share group. But these are the cards that I gave my downline this month who were having birthdays and anniversaries in our group. So I was trying to make special cards for my downline members, and then I like to share them with you. All right, so we have that done. Now what remains is to just go ahead and we're going to put snail on the back. And notice I don't have the ribbon on yet, the little bow, because I want to do that last. Because sometimes if you have bumpy, bulky things on the front, it's really hard to put snail on because the bumpy, bulky part just doesn't like that. So I'm going to set this here in the corner, and we will just make sure this is all lined up. And down it goes. Perfect. And we'll do the same thing with this card. So again, normally I would use glue because that's just so easy, but just line it up. So I'm lining it up on the left-hand side, making sure it's all straight. And once that's all straight, you can lay it down. And it's perfect. Now, to finish up this card, we're just going to put the bows on. They're just going to be lovely. It's just going to be a lovely way to finish up this card. So I'm going to take my glue dots. I'm just going to stick these little bows on a glue dot. And if you are making a lot of cards, you can just continue unrolling this and sticking bows on all the way around. I love doing that for swaps. It's the little things that kind of get me excited. So now we're going to take this bow And where do you want to put the bow? Right in the middle, right where those two designer series papers intersect is a good spot to put it. So there's one, and here's the other. And again, as I mentioned, these will be my giveaway cards, and I think you will like them a lot. I'll also give away the ribbon that goes with that, and I'll do my drawing on Thursday, so be watching for that. So here's all of the cards. I'm just going to set them all out so you can see them in their glory. Oh, how pretty. And of course, matching envelopes as well. We'll just tuck those in on the sides here. There we are. Thank you everybody so much for joining me today. You guys are a treasure. I truly appreciate doing these Facebook Lives for you, and all of your comments mean so much to me. So I really appreciate it, whether you're seeing me on YouTube or whether you're seeing me on a Facebook Live. Thank you so much. You are appreciated. Have a great day, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.